Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
All right, guys, so let's wrap up with the world of European football. Let's start off with my beloved Gunners. We have finally signed our striker, Viktor Gyökeres, from Sporting CT for Sporting Lisbon, for a fee of like 73 million. It's like 63 million plus 10 million in add-ons. And he will be hopefully joining the Gunners on their Asia tour for the preseason here shortly. I'm excited because they were linked with Benjamin Sesko. And like I said in a previous episode, where I thought Benjamin Sesko, for what the Gunners needed, was not necessarily the guy. I thought the guy that we needed to get was Viktor Gyökeres, who was a solid number 9 striker in front of goal. He had a great season with Coventry his last year. I think it was in the first division, in the championship, not necessarily in the Premier League with Coventry before he made his move to Lisbon. And when he went to Portugal, he's been stellar. He's had the last like 3 years, he's had a great performance for Sporting CP. So with that being said, him coming to the Gunners, coming to Arsenal at the ripe age of 27, where last year I think he scored or contributed over 50 goals in either scoring or assisting. It's an exciting time. We haven't had, in my personal opinion, a striker. We haven't had a striker in, I think, like, since Van Persie left for Manchester United fucking 15 years ago, right? I know we had Lacazette, who I thought was going to be a great success for Arsenal when he joined from Olympique Lyon. Never translated with the Gunners into the English Premier League. I thought Aubameyang, I never saw Aubameyang as a solid striker. I thought he was more or less a winger who I think they try to make into a striker. Like, he just didn't fit for me personally. I didn't personally like Aubameyang's stint with the Gunners, even though he had a phenomenal performance for Barcelona. But yeah, Giroud, when he was with Arsenal, wasn't necessarily a lethal finisher. And the list goes on, Danny Welbeck. It's been years. And with Viktor Gyökeres, I thought Gabriel Jesus, when we signed him, he was going to be that missing piece, that goal scorer, because he was proven in the Premier League, even though they went in a different direction, in the direction of Julian Alvarez, I believe, at the time, when we got Jesus. Granted, Julian Alvarez then got replaced by Erling Haaland, but I thought Gabriel Jesus was going to be that guy for us. Last year, he was plagued by an injury, and even before the injury, he wasn't necessarily Mikel Arteta's number one option, because of the lack of being able to find the back of the net. That's why they went with Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz, after he got injured, I feel like he's more of an attacking midfielder, not necessarily a solid striker at the number 9 position. So with the move of Thomas Partey now leaving, we have Declan Rice. We can have now Kai Havertz with Odegaard in the midfield, and now we got Viktor Gyökeres at the number 9 position. We still have Martinelli, who, even though we've signed Noni Madueke, I think Martinelli is still better than Madueke, and I think he's going to have a better season this year now that he has number 9, like a lethal striker, like a striker option at the 9 position. That's just going to allow Saka and Martinelli to have more freedom, because the focus won't necessarily just be driven. Because last season, I felt like a lot of the focus was driven on Martinelli because Saka was injured and we didn't have a number 9. So a lot of pressure was put on Martinelli last season. Now that we have basically our attacking 3, I think Martinelli is going to have a phenomenal season this year. I think Saka is going to have a good season. I think Gyökeres is going to have a good season. And I really believe now this year has to be the year the Gunners win the Premier League. There is no excuse anymore. We got Mikel Arteta's goalkeeper in Raya because he wanted Raya, right? I think our defense in Saliba and Gabriel is set. I think we have Lewis Skelly, who's coming up in that left wing back position. I forget who our right back is, but I know that position also set. I think it's still Ben White, if I'm not mistaken. But we also have now Declan Rice, who had a phenomenal season last year, taking the mantle essentially when like a lot of the team was injured. Partey was dealing with injuries, Odegaard was dealing with injuries, Saka was dealing with injuries, Jesus, Kai Havertz, everybody was basically dealing with injuries. Martinelli, I think, even dealt with injuries at some point. Um, we got depth with Trossard. We got depth in the bench. We now have Zubamendi. Um, we're a deep squad. We have a deep squad. So if we got injuries that we got to deal with, we have players that can replace those players. And I really do think we're as deep in terms of players and depth as Liverpool, as Manchester City. We're definitely going to finish in the top four. I'd be surprised if we don't finish in the top four, but I realistically expect us to win the Premier League this year. Even though I know Liverpool has bolstered, they lost Diogo Jota. It's going to be an emotional season for Liverpool this year, trying to defend that title with Arne Slot. And Manchester City, if they can find a way to turn it around, they're still a threat in my personal opinion with Pep Guardiola, Erling Haaland, Bernardo Silva, like that team as a whole. I think Rodri. I don't think Bernardo Silva's there anymore, but Rodri for sure. If he can find his form, I think Manchester City is still there. Even though they didn't necessarily have a stellar performance in the Club World Cup, it's still last season. Once they go on vacation, come back, it's a new season. It'll be a new mentality, and we'll see how they go. We'll see how Manchester City goes. But like I said, I expect Arsenal to be the team this year. And then let's talk about Barcelona. Like I also said in one of my previous episodes, I thought Darwin Nunez, I thought Marcus Rashford.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mod production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mod podcast where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
Were better suited to fit into Barcelona than Luis Diaz, than a Nico Williams, because basically you're looking for a player to be a substitute for those guys. You have your midfield set with Pedri, with De Jong, whether that be Dani Olmo, whether that be Gavi. You have your midfield set. You have five. Fermin Lopez. We can't forget about Fermin Lopez. You got 5 to 6 players that you can trust in the midfield, and you can even use them as wingers. Now you got Ferran Torres, who had a good performance, who had a great season last year, especially when Lewandowski went down. He was a super sub, right? Now you can relieve some of that pressure. Now you have Marcus Rashford, who can play either left wing, who can play the right wing, who can substitute in for Lamine Yamal, who just signed a new contract. He just turned 18, who's now going to be wearing the number 10, iconic number 10 jersey, which I'm excited about. You can also play in the left wing, where I think he's a bit more comfortable substituting in for Rafinha. And he can also play as a striker right down the middle, coming in for Lewandowski. Now you have Barcelona is deeper. I think Marcus Rashford was the perfect fit for what Barcelona needed right now, because you don't want to necessarily, I don't believe you want to shake up what was working. Rafinha had a stellar season last year, the best of his career by all intents and purposes. And Lamine Yamal coming into his own. Now you have depth. If Ferran Torres goes down, you still have Marcus Rashford. And hopefully Marcus Rashford finds his stride with Barcelona. They gave him the number 14 jersey, which for me, it's kind of it's shades of Thierry Henry, who had the 14, right? And I think he's gonna fit in well. I think he's gonna fit in well. We have John Laporta, who is going to essentially be the new number 1. We got Wojciech Szczesny, who's going to be the backup essentially this year. I think they still got Inaki Pena, or he might have already moved away. And then we got Ter Stegen, who's gonna go on injured, who's basically gonna have a surgery, who will be out for 3 months. He doesn't necessarily want to leave Barcelona. He wants to compete for the starting role. He's basically the captain, been there for the last like 10 years. Basically, he's earned it. But he doesn't want to move away. He wants to play for Barcelona. He wants to play for Germany next year in the World Cup. And he's basically going to see what the goalkeeper room looks like this season after the first 3 months of the season for Barcelona. And there might be a chance that he comes back. If it's just not salvageable, then he'll have to move during the January transfer window so he get playing time and be the number one option for Germany going into next season. But yeah, on another note, let's talk about the MLS. Deciding to suspend Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba for not participating in the All-Star game, which I fucking think is ridiculous. In an All-Star game, whether it be NBA, whether it be the major leagues, whether it be the WNBA, whether it be the fucking NFL Pro Bowl, which is another version of the All-Star game. It's just the American football version of it. It's an option. Players can opt out of it. Nobody needs to be suspended for not showing up to the All-Star game, especially if you've had like you're at a stage in your career. Like, for example, Messi's 38. I think Jordi Alba's 36. Injuries are a thing. Lengthy seasons like this, in my personal opinion, this is ridiculous on behalf of the MLS. And I hope that it is appealed and it is rescinded, because Messi and Alba do not deserve to be suspended for a game for not playing in the MLS All-Star game. The club should not be punished. It should be optional for players. If they want to play and participate, they can go play and participate. But yeah, this is ridiculous in my personal opinion. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of this episode. Guys, thank you for watching the latest episode of Unwin from the End Zone with your favorite host, King NPV. Please leave a comment. Please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, always remember, desire is power, and if you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching the latest episode. I'll see you next time.
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.